When financing is involved, generally you're going to need an appraiser. Understanding what an appraiser does is very important for a real estate professional. Let's go out and listen to the 3 types of approaches that appraisers use when appraising the value of residential properties.
Hi, I'm Zoe and I'm an appraiser. I'm here at the seller's house today to start the appraisal on this property. But for teaching purposes, let me talk to you a little bit about the 3 methods we use for valuing a home. The first one is the cost approach. This is one that isn't done so often anymore, but it's mostly done on new construction properties. And it's based on the value of the land plus the value of the home. And then we do take into consideration accrued depreciation on the home if it's not new construction. And all that is added together to figure out what it cost to build this house, to build the entire property. The second way that we can determine value of a property is the income approach. Now, it's not generally used on a property like this because this is a home in a residential neighborhood, and these are not generally used for rental purposes. This would be better for a retail property or duplex or threeplex or something like that. We need to determine the market rents that come in. What is the investor going to make on that property? What's going to be their return on investment? So we do that to figure out the net operating income compared to the expenses. Then we take that net operating income and compare it to the return on investment, and that's the cap rate. That's what the investor is going to be looking at to figure out what they would pay for this property. The third approach to value that appraisers use is the sales comparison approach. This is similar to what you do when you do market analysis. We take a look at the subject property, the style of the home, the location, the square footage, how many bedrooms and bathrooms, the quality of the home, the condition that it's in, the updates that it's had, and we compare this to nearby properties that have recently sold. Now, an appraisal can only be done by a licensed appraiser, and there are much more strict guidelines that we have to follow than you do when you're doing a market analysis, but it's the same idea at the base of it. Now that we've talked about the 3 different approaches to coming up with value, let me talk to you in more detail about the sales comparison approach. When I come into a home to do the appraisal, the first thing I do is start outside. I've got my tape measure, I've got my clipboard, and my handy laser measure, and I measure the whole exterior of the property to get a sketch, to get the overall measurements of the home. I'm also taking photos outside, the front, the back, the sides, and as I'm going around, I'm making a note of all the materials used outside. Is it vinyl siding? Is it stucco? Is it a shake roof or asphalt? If they have a deck, what kind of materials are used on the deck? And I take notes of all that. Then when I come back into the house, when I'm walking around, I'm walking into each room. I'm taking photos of the rooms. I'm making a note of the fact that this is the living room. It's got carpet. It's got a gas fireplace. I note the knockdown ceiling since that's an upgrade. I go into the bathrooms and I note what kind of materials are used on the floor, the countertops, what kind of tubs surround. And the kitchen, there's more details in there. Again, we've got the flooring and the basic materials, but the quality of the cabinets matter. The kind of countertops they have, is it granite or is it Formica? Is it another brand? Do they have a backsplash? Are the appliances upgraded? We also make a note of which appliances are there. Some are personal property and some add value to the home if they're built in. So these details we're taking a look at, as well as what kind of condition the home is in. Are the walls all marked up? Are there repairs that are needed? And I often talk to the realtors and ask them what updates have been done to the property. Did they remodel the kitchen? Have they remodeled the bathrooms? How old is the furnace? And we get all these details added together, and this is how we come up with the information to be able to compare it to the other homes nearby that have recently sold.
Now clearly, Zoe is a professional appraiser. She understands her business. She knows the 3 different approaches to determining value of real estate, right? You have the cost approach, you have the income approach, and then what we generally use in residential real estate, the sales comparison approach. Those are the 3 that appraisers use when determining value, especially when there's a mortgage involved. Now, us as professionals, I want to be you clear, we are also asked sometimes to do an opinion of value for somebody. And what we do is what's called a competitive market analysis. Not completely different than the sales comparison approach, but understand this. A competitive market analysis, a CMA, that we do is considered our opinion. It's a little different when an appraiser gives a sales comparison approach, and I can tell you there's a level of expertise and a breadth of knowledge and a depth of knowledge that is significantly different. So make sure you know of a good appraiser if you're in real estate and understand what exactly they for when they're determining the value of a property. And then for yourself, and how competitive market analysis and how to determine the value of a property.